like, you don't really, most people don't really see that a lot in real life because it's just, you know, by the nature of extremes, it's an outlier, so people don't see it a lot. But then whenever the internet shows people these options and these possibilities, I think it makes it creates a self-radicalization spiral.
Which left in 2022 and immediately launched Mina, an AI chatbot to fight loneliness. There's now a thriving loneliness economy that Silicon Valley talks about all the time. There are even venture capital companies that focus exclusively on this. We made a video about the entire loneliness economy before.
The reason why people are lonely is that there are no third spaces anymore. That's places that are not education or work that people go to and interact with other people. And to the extent that there are any of them, they're almost always, you know, not gender diverse. So, like, you know, for example, there's like, you go to the Warhammer card shop. Okay, it's all guys, right? It's all guys. Maybe one guy's wife comes in and she says, "Carl, you said you'd be home an hour ago." Guys, I gotta go.
Perfect vector for exploitation. Sell people the solution to the problem you helped create. It's the oldest trick in the book, but the impacts are totally new to us. And that's why they're doing so much damage. We're even inventing new language to deal with this. Remember that cringily soulless word, meet-cute, that people started using years ago? It popped up on social media as a way to describe meeting someone that you exchange numbers with for a date. For example, at a coffee shop.
I've actually never done that. I have never done that, not even once in my life.
Or a bookshop for the same book. Just think about the fact that we actually developed a new word for the crazy phenomenon of just meeting someone organically. It should have set off alarm bells, right? It was an early sign that society was changing in a way that made meeting people in real life the exception and not the rule. It's no coincidence that the word started being used a lot around.
Because, like, the thing is, like, if you can find a girl on the internet, right? You look her up on Facebook and it's like, okay, she's pretty hot. Then you look her mom up and then you see her mom's fat. You're like, well, I'm not gonna invest in it. Like, who wants to invest in a company that's going down? If you know the company's going to go bankrupt in 5 years, you're going to go and invest in that company. Or for mom's hot? Well, then you talk to them.
At the same time, dating.
I mean, what?
And in the last decade, dating declined to the point where the majority of Generation Z today
You're such a pig?
really have
I know.
50% of men aged 18 to 24 have never approached a woman in person in their life. And like even higher percentage, 18 to 30, haven't approached a woman in the last year.
In recent years, third spaces, meaning not your home, school, workplace, have just vanished. Think about the place that you grew up as an example. Pubs, bars, libraries, high street shops. How many are actually left today? And if any, how busy even
all gone except one card shop.
Are they? Since COVID, we just shuttle ourselves from home to work to the gym, supermarket and home. You don't really just go to the village markets. There is no real town, square or hall. You're not really bumping into anyone. Even a bit of small talk with someone at the bus stop just feels weird and awkward. Making eye contact with someone on public transport will get you a look that leaves you wondering if you're insane.
So much of what makes somebody good at dating is different now than it was 50 years ago.
You can see it in the way coffee shops have changed.
I can't really comment on that. I don't know.
Almost every cafe is designed to just minimalist. Almost as if they're designed purely as a conveyor belt of coffees and customers, getting us in and out as quickly as possible to extract the most amount of money they can. But can you remember the time when a stereotypical cafe was like this? With big sofas, comfy chairs.
We had a place like this. It went out of business because nobody bought anything. People just showed up and smoked weed, and they brought beer and they'd just get drunk. Yeah, it really, we had one, it lasted for like 3 years. They shut it down.
The show Friends was based on just reality in the 90s, and it's all part of a much wider pattern. One that's seemingly threatening humanity.
But this is actually potentially existential crisis. Humans really do need
got grandma sitting in the gaming chair.
Of an endangered species.
Because meeting people and building relationships is really the most important thing for human survival. It's often the key indicator in determining your lifespan. It's how we have replacement rates in just the population. But with this last decade and the disappearance of so many communal spaces where our parents and grandparents had opportunities to randomly meet new people,
another big issue is that there's no shared common culture. Like, for example, in, you know, the 50s, from what I hear, right, 60s from what I hear, is that there was much more of a established way of pursuing a woman or pursuing a man. But now, like, for example, there are women that whenever they tell you no, they want you to continue pursuing them. There are women that like this. And they like being hard to get, and they think that it's a game, it's a narrative to them, it's like romantic in their mind. Now, in my opinion, I think it's ridiculous. You're playing games with me, I'm not a PlayStation, get the fuck out of here. But at the same time, there is a shared cultural expectation that a certain degree of that could be, you know, acceptable. But whenever you bring in people from a bunch of different cultures and you have a segmentation and a fragmentation of the culture where some people think that asking twice is like basically sexual harassment and other people think that asking twice is meaning that you mean it, you have a huge problem of, you know, basically shared culture. And I think this is another reason why this has become so problematic in America. It's because there has been a breakdown of what these shared rules of engagement are between men and women.
Dating apps has meant we're seeing a gap try to be filled that wasn't natural. This is a void created by the same economic forces that hollowed out our third spaces, chains and corporate landlords. The same forces that funded these apps promising to replace what was destroyed. The dating apps didn't discover a gap in the market, one was just torn open and then monetized. But it was a lie. That too was all about getting your money. Think about it, the whole idea of a dating app as a viable business is a paradox. If they actually help people into relationships, then they use the customers. Clearly, lose business. One good match with two lost customers. Instead, they design the apps to fail, and in doing so, keep us hooked on using them. And in turn,
I've never used a dating app before.
A better way to keep an active user base than by having relationships designed to be short. This is your capacity to fall in love, to build a family, to find meaning. All your data, all your most vulnerable desires are just slowly converted into swipes and push notifications so someone else can hit their quarterly growth targets. Your relationship is designed to not be long-term. That's why men
I know a lot of people that have met their girlfriend or wife on a dating app. I think it's pretty possible.
Up 75% of Tinder users and women just 25%.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, the co-founder of the dating site, OJ Cleveland, wrote a book revealing what actually happens behind the scenes of dating apps. Women, as you'd expect, receive an average of 4 to 5 messages a week, which even that seems unlikely to be this true. 90% of men receive an average of 0 messages.
An average of 0? Well, that's not very good, is it?
Only at the extreme end of the attractiveness scale do the best-looking men receive around 1 to 2 messages.
But there's also a lot of men who are relying on dating apps who are never going to get the matches that they desire. Either because they are short or because they are bald.
So, as many of us are...
What a fucking bitch! I hate this bitch! What is this?
If you're not in the top 10%, there's really no point in using them. It's something that's called mate suppression in practice, and we'll get onto that more soon.
And the reality is, for 95% of guys, online and dating apps aren't going to be a fruitful place for them to meet women.
But what we're seeing right now is that Generation Z's entire prospect of finding love is based on the ELO rating system.
You're dating ELO.
Numerical method developed to rank players in games like chess.
Oh my
Player
God.
score determines how strong or weak they are in relation to others. So your ability to find love is seemingly literally being run through the same maths we use to decide who's good at chess or League of Legends. It's why whenever you join these apps you get tons of matches, then suddenly they just fade away. You'll be told this is a personal failure, but oftentimes it's not.
Well, it is a personal failure. It's basically you're ugly, and so people swipe left on you, and so they stop showing you to other people because they don't want people. Basically, you have to keep in mind that these dating apps, their best interest is to keep people engaged. So in the process of keeping people engaged, you want to show people that are engaging. And so if you have a person that has a swipe through rate of 98%, then guess what? You're not going to show that person a lot, because if you do that, then it's going to increase the probability that that person isn't going to use your app because the app is showing them something that's statistically unlikely to be attractive. It's just common sense. Like, you look at the way the numbers are.
From sorting you to the bottom unless you pay a ton of money. And this created a dangerous dynamic that has now permeated the world of dating, one where women select the same group of the most attractive men who have almost exclusive access to women, who then become less interested in lots of these girls because they are then seen as too easy. The effect of this is that dating is seemingly a low-trust marketplace, as the entire way to attract is seemingly detachment and not through connection. It's always a contest of who cares the least, who can take the longest to message back, who's more aloof, disinterested, and who holds the power in the struggle to not care about the other. In other words, it's a game.
Let me tell you something. Like, this is my relationship advice. I don't have a girlfriend. Is that, I think I should just always preface it with that, right? Just always, every single time. Yeah, oh, by the way, guys, this is my message 9 months later. So there are people I regularly don't message back for like weeks at a time. And that's just the way it is. And so it looks like Rainbow Siege, yeah, definitely. So if you have to play the I'm not going to message you back game, the odds are that person is a waste of your time.
Villain. I'm not judging.
It's just the way it is.
A game where almost everyone is
really
bound
want
to
do
lose.
that your whole life?
You can now see it on reality TV with game shows where heartbreak is entertainment. But what's the message we're supposed
It's always been that case.
to get from this? Romance isn't sacred, it's just a contest, which all leads to the loneliness epidemic, and this one's hitting the youngest the hardest. But it's not just dating. Our whole modern society is stacked against any of us meeting someone to get married or even have children, and the consequences of this will change them.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, out of all my friends, like, I thought about this, obviously, this is the kind of shit you think about when you're 35. But, like, every single one of my friends is either married or has kids.
Be wary.
Like, there's one exception, but, like, this dude's had the same fucking girlfriend. He's like, oh, we're engaged. They've been engaged for 15 years. They're fucking married, okay? So, besides this one guy, every single guy I know has either been married, is married, or has kids. That's crazy.
You play with cards. I'm commander.
Because there's something else catching up with us. Our bodies are starting to fail and lose the capacity to produce children at all. You know what they found recently? Microplastics in human testicles. Human testicles contain nearly 3 times as much plastic as dog testicles.
Based.
We're literally marinating our reproductive organs in synthetic
So based.
It's one of the many explanations as to why male sperm counts have dropped by more than 40% since 1970. Average sperm counts could even hit near zero as the current.
That sounds like bullshit.
Even if a situation that extreme doesn't transpire, there are plenty of other things to worry about, like the forever chemicals in non-stick pans and waterproof jackets, EPA in your water bottles, all the nasty chemicals in your shampoo. I mean, just the list goes on. Even simple stuff like drinking hot coffee out of plastic paper.
Why do that every day?
The world now saturated
Not coffee,
with endocrine disruptors. And surprise, surprise, our endocrine systems are getting disrupted by all of this garbage we're pumping into our bodies daily. But even if you've somehow avoided the chemical assault, even if your fertility is fine, there's another huge problem vying against us. How many of your friends between the ages of 18 and 30 have kids?
I would say that inside of my friend group, how many of them had kids inside of 18 to 30?
Oh, is that your specter?
Sample size of, let me think sample size of how many people. Let me think of 30, like just the 30 people that I know that like at first 30 people come out.
Just the boost I need.
I'd say like 40 to 60%, somewhere around there.
None until this year or last? Is anyone planning to have kids? How about those who said they don't even want kids? You just push everything later and later back. Education, work, financial stability, and for the middle classes especially, that pushes back having a family. Because you only have a family when it's really sensible, right? That's just the middle class value. Rich people don't worry, and the poor people don't.
No, they don't.
Changes our biological clock when it comes to fertility. Women over 35 are considered advanced maternal age, and honestly 35 is starting to look young to have kids for millions of people around the world. However, at 35, miscarriage rate nearly doubles. The chance of
your kid could be all kinds of fucked up if you have a kid over 40. My mom was 40 when she had me. wow. How about that, huh?
Chromosomal abnormalities skyrockets. Down syndrome risk goes from something like 1 in 1,000
to 39.5
to 1 in 140.
Chromosome, bro, hear that?
It's not just mothers.
Yeah.
All the fathers contribute too. Men over 45 show increased risk of autism, schizophrenia, and stillbirth. Having kids into the 40s, 50s, now becoming super popular. Every year you wait to always have higher and higher stakes. But what else do you do? Shrug your shoulders and say it's too late and just plummet towards old age without the family you ever wanted and live an unsatisfying life. Well, if you don't want that, when natural conception fails, you can only turn to IVF. This is often the modern solution, except a single cycle costs $12,000 to $15,000.
Trump reduced this by a lot, to be fair. But
Medications, there's another $5,000, and most people need multiple cycles. So you're looking at around $30,000 to $50,000 minimum, often much more. And this leads down a dark path where we're forced to engineer more of the process of just having kids. Genetic testing in the womb. Testing for Down syndrome is one thing, but some companies will now screen for height and IQ.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, if you're gonna have a manlet that's only like 6'1", I mean, you might as well just kill it. I mean, just kill him right now, right? I mean, let's not even. It's just so cruel to allow him. Like, he's gonna be 5'9". Just kill him. Just and listen, Sparta used to do that, right? They take the baby. The baby's small. Off the cliff. That's the way it is.
An ethical black hole on every front for men and women. Women are the child bearers, they shoulder a lot of the risk here, and male dating culture
Can't win
doesn't
them all.
think about this enough because everyone is dying against it. If you've seen our video on population collapse, you'll know that countries like the USA and the UK see college childbirth numbers It's not just a stat, it's millions of people who always imagined they'd have a partner and family one day, now quietly aging out of their possibilities. Family lines ending not because people don't want that, but because our environment makes acting that desire impossible. Ask yourself, even if you did meet the right person, what would stop you from having children? Probably not enough money, no chance of being able to buy a house anytime soon.
Yeah, if people don't want to have a kid and, like, you know, have this kid, put it in it, I blame feminism. I think that if, you know, honestly, I think there's like 50 reasons. I think women being obnoxious is one of them, but I think women think men are awful too. Like, the thing is that, this is the problem, is that a lot of it, people look at it from like a guy's perspective, but like, I know why women hate men, because I've read women's DMs. Like, some guys, like, really, like, I mean, did you really have to send her a picture of your dick after you said good morning? Like, you don't even know her. Why would you do that? Why would you send her a picture of your dick?
Bad guys won't like this.
Why would you don't even know her name.
Cost of living is probably too high on your city.
It's just, I don't get it.
The cost of childcare is more than your current salary. There are just no good schools in the no school places with good skills. Or you can just find It's probably all of the above. It's not just an economic problem. Based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all the stuff we need like love and marriage and family, just the basics. It's the same importance in life as having food, water, a roof over our heads. The funny thing is that the way this hierarchy was sold to us in the 20th century made it sound like family came after you finally self-actualized. You've nailed the career, the money, the personal
Well, that's
growth.
usually the way it used to be, right? Is like the idea was that you would find a girlfriend in like high school or college or early in the work potentially, and then as your career is getting more popular and you're doing better, then you get married and have kids, right? And like this all happens between like 23 to like 29 or 30, right? This is what happens. That's so unrealistic now. Well, I'm just saying, like, growing up, that's what they would tell me.
In reality, for most people, that self-actualization would put family altogether. There was always one more phase of working myself first, so we ended up with a whole culture optimized for individual self-maximization, while family quietly got pushed off the edge of the pyramid. Today, most of us, let alone Generation Z, never even get past the bottom layers. Housing, money, community, security, it's all unstable. And when your foundation is shaking, you can't climb to the levels The system keeps the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're stuck trying to afford food, it's hard to figure out where the hoes are.
You know, like, that's just the way it is. It's just a bummer. No, I'm serious. It's the way it is.
Gaslights us for not reaching love. You ever lie in bed scrolling through people's social media? The engagements, weddings, honeymoons, kids. It feels like you're watching real life from behind glass as time seems to disappear from.
I don't actually. Like, I never look at this shit. I just look at videos of myself.
I look at a lot of videos of myself. I watch myself.
And it's not just about missing out on dates, it's that we're missing out on the opportunity to build something lasting, something to have outside of ourselves, something to connect us with beauty in the world. Somehow starting a family is considered a luxury for the rich,
It is.
a luxury for a
100%
select
of those.
few in society who don't have to worry about the housing market. They don't have to worry about the dating crisis.
Yep.
They own several homes. That money and security is attractive to other women. They don't need to worry about schools. They can send their kids to the best private schools anywhere in the world. And the thing is, this isn't an accident. Decades of decisions driven by corporate greed, short-term profits, and cultural righteous work over family has left us here. Those at the top are allowed to have family. They're able to have more kids. And even
I think this was always the case, actually. I think it always was, but like now it's just gotten to be so extreme that it's problematic.
I'm not judging.
and they're still not having that many. Like an idiocracy, where you'll get these upper-class people debating whether it's a good idea to even have one child. So how can you expect an undervalued, underpaid worker class to ever be able to have the time, money, or even possibility of raising a family? Especially as more and more governments cut childcare, youth services, community centers, third spaces, police numbers, the list just goes on.
It's bad.
But the effect down the line is just a less safe, less connected society that is not replacing itself. Huge populations in the entire Anglosphere are just disappearing over time. And this is where it gets interesting, because if you think about the West 100 years ago, it wasn't like we were even that much richer. So many people struggled. Poverty was right, people worked insane hours, but they still had families, often large ones. So what actually changed? Well, religious communities and spaces, shared culture, social traditions and rituals, these safety nets that help people to share life's burden.
Yeah, there's no shared culture, and also I think that it's harder for like a guy to I think get a girlfriend in a lot of cases, because a lot of guys don't really know how to talk to girls. That's another big issue. Like, for example, it's like, what do you talk to this thing about, right? Like, what do you ask it what its day is like? I don't know what the fuck to say to it.
I never should have gotten myself
Bro, like, can we just skip this part? Can we just skip this part? Like, this is just so fucking annoying.
Great. Modernity has completely stripped away all the essentials that make replacing your population just an actual part of the solution.
And then that's whenever you send a picture of your dick. That's right. That's right. And now the police are here, and apparently there's something called sexual harassment. Like, what the fuck?
And I'd say the most infuriating part of this fertility collapse is when we're just supposed to pretend that people's decision to not have children is simply a personal choice, and not one imposed upon us by a personal state. This isn't a problem.
I think there's a lot of reasons. I think that also people don't have kids because of their career in a lot of cases too. That's a big factor, huge factor.
Africa or other developing parts of the world, and yet somehow the rich West can't even replace culture. And we can't just blame the rich and powerful. Much of the progress we celebrate today is part of the problem.
Well, and it's also like people consume media that makes them hate the other gender. I think that's another really big factor, is that they're consuming media that makes them fucking hate men or hate women, and so they spend all their time looking at this, and then they're crashing out. Like, yeah, duh, of course they are, because you're just getting fed a constant diet of men bad, women bad, etc. You're watching me. Yeah, you watch me all day and you hate women. Of course, duh. Obviously.
We created a massive middle class, and when you look at who's actually having those, it's not a straight line from rich to poor. It's a U-shape. Wealthy Elon Musk has 12 children, Nick Cannon has 12, Robert De Niro just had his 7th, age 79. Working class or population has tons of kids too. Africa's population is booming. Often when work prospects ranks are lower
the
and
USAID,
paid worse,
right?
it's become a lifeline. Life priorities put family before career advancement, because career advancement really isn't on the table anymore. There's nothing controversial about this. This was always what it used to be like before countries became industrialized and the middle class grew up. Families had loads of kids first because infant mortality was high, and second,
Yeah, you gotta just, I mean, honestly, you gotta have like 6 or 7 kids. That way, like, you know,
Never miss.
pop off. Found that out. Like, they used to not even give kid names until they had a certain amount of age. Like, it's like, this kid's like, now, alright, he's fine. Alright, let's call him Ed. How about that?
Mutants always rise
Yeah,
again.
names.
because it
It's
means
just like,
more
you know,
family
1, 2,
income
and 3.
and higher overall chances of survival. The middle class, though, they're getting
And then
absolutely
somebody said also, it's a good point, right? Is you have to also have another kid so you can ritualistically sacrifice it for the for rain.
crushed, and they're dying quite literally because of that. First, the middle class is associated with inspiration, the self-actualization of the so immediately there's an additional no one marketed to them middle class couples.
It's also the issue is that, like, I mean, in my opinion, like, I'm a traditional kind of guy, is that the right way of doing things is that you get married, and then after you get married, then you know, the wife stays at home and the guy takes care of it. Like, that's the way to do it that works. Now there's other ways to do it, but that's the way that works. And so, you know, I've been doing this for thousands of years. Doesn't mean the woman doesn't do anything, right? But it's like, that's the way it's been working. And so, traditional, that's exactly. But the problem is, like, number one, most guys can't afford that. And number two, a lot of people don't get married. So whenever you're like a girl, you know, you're a stay-at-home girlfriend for 5 years, and then your boyfriend kicks you to the curb, well, now you don't have any alimony. You're not making any money. You're just basically, like, stuck. Because there's also another factor is that women have a period, like, between, like, 18 and, like, I'd say, like, 30, 35, sometimes even less, where they're going to be attractive and guys are going to want to spend time and money on them naturally. And it's like, if there's a 40-year-old chick, like, some guy isn't probably as involved or doesn't care. Like, okay, she can be successful maybe, but, like, he doesn't give a shit about that, right? He just wants some chick that he's able to just kind of, you know, like, take care of, and that's it. The clock's ticking, exactly. So, like, if you're a woman and you're dating a guy for, like, 4 years, and it's between the ages, like, you're, like, 23 to, like, 27, let's say, and then it doesn't work out, well, you just lost a huge component of those people, right? And that's the big issue, right? Tried right here, had our first baby at home, husband works his ass off for it. Yeah, exactly, right? And so, it's so crazy. Guys, watch the fucking viewer count. Who gives a fuck? And so, anyway, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, what was I saying before I got confused? And, anyway, industry titans and wanted the workplace in there. Yeah, sure, right? And, like, just overall, what I think happens is that you have people that, you know, I mean, like, they can't take care of a family. They're not making enough money. And then you have these women and they don't get married. And so now there's no investment between the two people and it just gets worse.
Kitchen table with a spreadsheet, mortgage, student loans, car payments, health insurance.
You're a moron about this. Women are awful. They're 100% of the problem. Yeah, yeah.
Insurance, retirement savings,
right.
they're already behind the side, and then childcare.
I hate them.
So they wait and wait. They're being sensible, and by the time they feel ready, realize the biological clock never stops. This is the low fertility trap that threatens everyone. The working poor have kids they can't quite afford. The rich have as many as they want, but the middle class, the people who followed all the rules their life, maximized their education, delayed gratification, well, they're getting totally screwed. As you expect and probably know, all of this is causing a hell of a lot more stress, angst, paranoia, and disdain. It's getting so bad that men are just doing everything possible to thrive in this capitalistic system. To the point.
Well, they do it. Oh no. Are they gonna talk about the fucking hitting their face with the hammer? Oh my god. Okay, give me 1 second. We good?
Literally breaking breaking their bones to add height to their head, or just smashing their door open until
There you go.
like some instant.
There you go.
It's why looks maxing is now a thing.
What we're seeing is that there is like this very, very like deep anger, entitlement. There's like this incel movement. You know, there's this like alpha male, beta male kind of thing. And I don't know if you kind of get this, but there's like a deep sense of like anger.
Men today are more overprotected than ever before, but at the same time less able to be themselves or show vulnerability than ever. With constant mixed messages about needing to be confident and assertive, but also to never make a woman uncomfortable. So when real intimacy feels impossible or dangerous, most people just turn over to two obvious.
Well, it's also that like a lot of the people that are, I think, a lot of the like male role model people are like super problematic.
Removed so
like they are either like really simpy and they're just talking about how bad men are, or they actually are misogynist and they legitimately hate women, right? There's like almost never a like middle ground that makes sense. It just doesn't happen.
Our content is now becoming your core drive in life to on your reason. Or you go to the other extreme, where you see influencers taking TRT at just 14 years old.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to start off early, right?
Yep. Like, I'm gonna get my critique going as quickly as possible. I do not care about side effects. I don't care about any implications. Oh, this guy's using drugs.
Who cares?
None of that shit really fazed me.
Is even an influencer influenced so much by his love of American Psycho, he offers expensive courses to help young vulnerable men.
Syrian Psycho. Fucking based. He's got 1.9 million views. That's impressive.
Even the escape routes offered by these men roads to nowhere with heavy prices.
I actually disagree with this. I think that if you try to work on your appearance and like, there are people like basically you can't multiply by 0. So like for example, there's some people that are fucked up in one way or another and it doesn't really matter what they do. But let's say you're just like a normal person, you're an average person. If you take steps to make yourself look more attractive, it will make your life a lot easier. It will. You'll get treated better, people will respect you more. It's just that's the way everything like this is. And a lot of people might not really want to hear that. They can still improve a lot. Yeah, exactly, right? Disagree, diet and gym? That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what my point is. Diet and gym, yes. If you're going out there and you're going to the gym and you're exercising and you're putting a lot of work into what you're doing, this will absolutely increase your chances of having women that are interested in you and want to talk to you. Like, don't ever let anybody tell you that this stuff, like the looks maxing stuff works. It obviously works. If it didn't work, then makeup wouldn't be one of the biggest industries in the world. Like, duh, of course it matters.
All clearly indicates that there is a crisis happening. There are symptoms that dating is falling apart. And with more and more endless towns and cities designed around roads for vehicles and the loss of communal spaces that once enabled people to meet naturally, free time is just now dominated by screens. We need more exaggerated extreme content, whether it be some crazy look smack runs or watching 1,000 men line up outside. Yet whenever this issue is talked about publicly, it just sounds like a joke. No one ever takes it seriously, no one even
because the problem is that it's insidious in a way because it is one of those topics where you have, it's so ridiculous whenever it's being discussed. Things like Clav or Bonnie Blue talking about this stuff, it seems like it's a, like, it seems fucking ridiculous. And so because it's so ridiculous and it in a way is a parody of itself, people think that it's a joke, but it's actually really not. Some of these factors are real. They absolutely are. So I wish I was the 1,000th person. I don't. Yeah, I don't. And wait, sex with 1,000 people? Yeah, bro, like this woman was, I don't even know how you do that. I honestly, it's kind of impressive in a way. People treat you the way you look. Yeah, people treat you the way you look. Like, in my opinion, like, I've been around, like, for example, like, friends of mine that are, like, more attractive. And they get treated totally different than, like, let's say I would get treated, right? I remember seeing this growing up, and I was like, this was actually one of the reasons why, like, and this is going to sound like kind of a crazy thing to say, but it's one of the reasons why I'm, like, kind of, in a lot of cases, like, a very ruthless and, like, Machiavellian person, is that I've always felt like, you know, okay, well, you know, these other people have these advantages. I don't have these advantages, so I have to make up for it by just being even more ruthless, aggressive, and you know, as goal-oriented as I possibly can be, right? And so that was always the way that I would look at things, and it was one of my mindsets for it, because like basically it's like, okay, well, you know, if you don't have these advantages, you have to put yourself in a position that is similar to them.
In fact, society will just continue to tell us that biology
That's my
doesn't
mindset.
matter. Sex, status, attachment, presence are all just irrelevant.
Yeah, pretty privilege, it goes really hard, but like being completely ruthless and being able to outthink and outmaneuver people, it's even better.
We're now post-animal, reaching our dreams, playing outside virtue, deprived of community, ritual, movement, and necessary for the chaos and unpredictability, the conditions that our species evolved. So next time you see falling birth across the Western world, when you see the population collapse in numbers, you have to realize that this is manifesting itself through these weird behaviors that we're seeing today. And as we continue to struggle to even replace our current populations, the burden will only get
Yeah, you need like a 2.3 or 2.4 or something like that replacement rate in order for, you know, like the society to continue going. And like we're very lower below that. Not good. Yeah, absolutely. No, he's totally right about this. And again, that's the reason why so many people have started getting into like looks maxing and everything else. It's like basically a gamification of being able to, you know, like have a girlfriend or something like that. I think that's kind of what's happened, is that they're trying to do whatever they can to take advantage of it, and that's really it's superficial maxing. Or you can say it's superficial or not. It doesn't really matter like what your opinion is on it. And like, let's say it is superficial, it still works. It works extremely well. Or you mean you have to play the game better instead of crying about it? Well, I don't know about that. I mean, crying about which game, I don't know what you mean by that. So you have to learn how to outmaneuver, like you said, how to be ruthless. Well, the way that I look at it is that, you know, everybody in life has a set of advantages and disadvantages. So, for example, like, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and I never really thought I was a particularly attractive person. And I would get made fun of, like, growing up, like, the way I look, etc. And so, like, because of that, I thought to myself, okay, well, you know, these are things that are obvious, like, massive impediments, right? These are things that are, like, huge debuffs. So you have to, instead of that, look at other positive things that you can curate and cultivate that will allow you to overcome those debuffs. And so for me, my mindset was I will always, my core operating principle that I have is I always do what is in my best interest. Like, unless I'm acting in the best interest of another person, then I do what's in their best interest or a best interest of a friend. But other than that, I just simply do what's advantageous to me. So if that means lying, cheating, stealing, misrepresenting, doing anything that's bad at all of that's on the table because I have to do what's in my best interest. And, you know, my mindset is like, well, if I don't do that, well then, okay, well now I'm at even more of a disadvantage and now it's even worse. So that's it's not easy to do it. And so that's really that's how I make decisions, right? And so, yeah, sometimes, right? And use wealth to looks max and be healthy. Well, I mean, like, it depends on who it is, right? Like, for some people, it's easier to do, for other people, it's not. At least you know up to it. I do. I totally am up to it. And the reason why is because I think that a lot of people don't talk the way that I do. They don't explain things the way that I do. Because what I'm saying is it's not a socially acceptable thing to say, what I say. But I think it's very true, is that if somebody else has have you ever lied to chat? I never lied to chat. Never lie. Why would I ever lie to chat? It'd be disgusting. And so that's it. Get on peptides and peptides. I don't know. Like, I mean, for me personally, like my face is so fucked up. Like, I have like weird facial proportions, and also like my teeth are gone, and they've been gone for so long that they've deformed my face. So like, there's not really anything I can do about that. But like, there are other things that you can do instead. And my best advice is, if that does happen, you know, brush your fucking teeth whenever you're growing up, right? Because it totally fucks you up. So yeah, you're fine. No, look, guys, I don't want to get into this being about me or anything else, but in general, I will say this. A lot of people think that I look okay whenever I'm on camera in my own room, in my own lighting. Think about it like this. I obviously try to present myself in the best way possible. What do you think like? If you go look at me in photos with other people or on IRL streams, it looks I look like an exhumed corpse. Like I do. Like this is just it is what it is. Like you can go and be like, oh, okay, well, you know, this is it's not really true. It absolutely is true. 100% it's true. If it wasn't true, you wouldn't have 50,000 fucking tweets about it being true. That's the fact. And so there it is.
A winning hand.
Push.
They hitting real hard.
Corpse maxing? Yes, exactly. Like the drown from Witcher 3. Exactly. That's a good example. And so, you know, my mindset is like, if you can't do that, you have to do other things instead of that. And so that's really the way that I look at everything, is that, you know, if you're not good at one thing, you have to be even better at something else. And so a lot of guys, I think that there's a lot of sensitive guys that I don't think that have an agency-based approach on life. And I think that's also the very big weakness, is that instead of looking at the disadvantages you have in life and you look at them in a healthy and, you know, emotionally competent way, you, instead of that, try to fight against them, you hate them, you're, you know, trying to live in the, you know, like in opposition to them, and it's just not going to work, right? And so if you try and do that, you're not thinking about the right perspective. Like, in my opinion, the right perspective is you go and immediately fucking figure out what are you good at, what are you bad at, focus on the things that you're good at, make them even better. Because usually things that you're not good at, you're probably not going to be able to make up the difference and have that happen. So, yeah. My wife is pointing out all the gray hairs I have in my beard, so I have that now. We'll just point out her weight whenever she does that. Point out the fact that she's gained weight recently, and that way you can get even with her. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. Yeah, bro, like, you can't let her do that to you, bro. Like, yeah, really? Like, point out the fact that she got a few more wrinkles on her face. That's the way it is, right? And anyway, you get slapped, yes, definitely. And your fingers look fatter, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, your wrists look heavier. Have you been retaining water? You're not eating too much food, are you? Like, wow. And it's a great way to meet a lawyer. Oh my God. Yeah, I guess so, right? And anyway, you mad? That's the best advice. Yes, definitely. Gray hairs are a badge of honor. I don't know about that. I'm lucky. I don't really have that many gray hairs. Almost all of my friends have a good amount of gray hair now and everything. I don't, honestly, I'm surprised that I haven't aged more. And, you know, like, fingers crossed, you know, knock on wood, you know, it hasn't gotten even worse. Like, I basically look the same.
Come, Evo.
Like a little bit less hair. And for quite a while, because you don't have hair? Okay. Well, anyway, so it's the candy, bro? Exactly. Yep, exactly. It's called the candy. You're on the sun a lot? Definitely. But no, I think
ulting.
start families now, it's become increasingly more difficult. You have way more people that are just not even planning on doing it. And I think that in a lot of cases they would have the opportunity to, but unfortunately it just seems like a lot of people nowadays are kind of, like, they've just given up, really. And I think it's sad, like, I mean, I think it makes sense, right? It's like if you're over, like, 30, 35, right? There's more of a perspective of that. But in a general sense, I feel like a lot of those people just kind of give up too early, right? And, yeah, it's like you're giving up, you're like 22 or something like that. Like, it's probably a little bit too early to give up.
I called this out a while ago, and I'm glad that some people are starting to realize this. But basically, all of these protests, if you guys notice this, that it's just full of a bunch of old retards. Have y'all seen this before? Protests full of old retards.
Hi folks, sorry for the strange setup, but I'm actually travelling at the moment. Sorry for the echoing here. There's nothing I can do about it. But I wanted to talk about the No Kings protests that happened a couple of days in America, because these were just boomer-tastic, and the whole thing seems to have gone off without a hitch, and was genuinely quite funny to watch. So we're told by the BBC that millions turned out for the anti-Trump No Kings protest. Now, you may have seen people saying, well, they were using recycled footage from
they should have turned up to vote.
17, which they probably were. But I suspect these were quite large protests, because this is, as far as I can tell, the hippies of the 60s
Yes.
coming out to whine about things that...
These are the hippies that complained about things in the 60s. This is their one final...
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
The policewoman standing up to the angry mob of Muslims is a hero. The second half of the video has gone viral after...
Massive day for the unemployed. Tens returns to streaming after the breakup. I'm expecting some major cope, and I'm expecting some major playing defense for Kaide. Let's find out what was said.
Depressing day for the unemployed. Tens returns to streaming, and boy oh boy, he doesn't look too hot.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Oh, man, I'm not gonna lie. I can already feel the tension in this. Jesus. This guy looks disheveled. This guy looks fucking heartbroken. I don't blame him, man. Bro gave away his entire life for a woman, and then even still that was not enough. Fucking insane.
How y'all doing? Mods have to work overtime? I know. The mods will be working overtime, unfortunately.
Wait, slow down. Let's not use the words mod and work in the same sentence. Send 10.
Welcome back.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. When my mods demand a full-time salary, because they ban one guy every, like, 40 minutes in chat. Come on, bro. Hey, come on, bro. What are we doing here? Come on, bro. Like, hey, if you want to earn a salary, you can hit me up, but you're gonna be doing 8 to 10 hours of work minimum a day. Hard work. 8 to 10 hours of work a day, and then I'll get you on salary, okay?
Been a wee little bit. Just wanted to play some games and see if I'm lost. Not been playing Valorant lately.
For your own
Oh, Jesus. That's how you know it's rough, man.
sake. Imagine solo queuing in Val after a breakup. That's just a speed run to depression.
Sorry for being alone, away from you.
That's my problem, man. And whenever I'm depressed, I'll play TFT alone. And when I hit 8, when I'm already depressed, oh my god, I've never been close to suicide in my whole life.
So long. I'm sure, here you can see why I've been,
I've made my share of mistakes. But
kind
I'm
of
fighting
missing in
every
action
day
as
to
of
win.
lately.
People have been calling these two the sinister sisters, and, you know, true. That's true.
Imagine I just started flying today. That would actually be like, that'd be comical. Would it not be? Like, can we actually appreciate the comedic aspect of this? If I just start popping the off on stream?
Not to be an out, you generally don't see a correlation with your Valorant in-game performance and your out-of-game breakup.
But that is actually, that would be too funny. I will be going to, what is it called? VCT Santiago.
I feel really bad for this guy, man. I really do. I know a lot of people this is like entertainment to them, and I know to a lot of you guys, I don't blame you guys. Content creators are just monkeys that you point and laugh at. It's like a zoo. I'm very emotionally invested into this Tens character. Because, like, I think we all know that feeling. You give a woman everything. You take care of them when they're sick. You know, you're there for anything they need. And then the moment that you outlive your usefulness for them, they toss you aside, or they attempt to ruin your life.